So apparently Phillies manager Rob Thomson bought a one-way ticket to getting fired town because he is having one of the worst managerial jobs I've ever seen in the playoffs. Now it's not as bad, but the Astros manager Dusty Baker, he had a pretty terrible postseason as well, and rumor has it he might be retiring after this latest series against the Rangers. We're also going to break down how the Cardinals made some of the worst moves I've seen over the last decade, and it should be a lot of fun, at least if you're not a Cardinals fan. And there's also a brand new professional baseball league called the Draft. Pablo Sandoval, he's in it. We have Robinson Cano, Bartolo Colon, so it's kind of fun. And if you guys like daily fantasy sports, Underdog Fantasy is running a crazy special. If you use code Fuzzy or you scan the barcode on the screen, they will match your first deposit up to $500, so it's free money. So the first game from yesterday, the Diamondbacks at the Phillies, they're at the bank where the Phillies fans, I mean, they are so much fun to listen to. Aaron Nola, he came out cooking. He looked as dominant as ever in the first inning. Again, this is game number 6, so Arizona is fighting for their lives. He emptied the tank maybe a little bit too soon. He was throwing 95, 96 consistently, and then he really started to miss his spots bad in the next inning. Tommy Pham, he belted a long no-doubt home run, and then Lourdes Gurriel Jr., he made it back-to-back home runs. This Snakes team, they are not going to go down without a fight, and they've been doing this all year long. The 16-year vet, Evan Longoria, he laced an RBI double to make it 3-0 off of Aaron Nola, and I haven't heard the bank this quiet in weeks, maybe even months. It was so quiet that the bank was trending on social media, but to be honest, I kind of get it because Aaron Nola, he started the game so hot that this kind of caught everyone off guard. Brandon Marsh, he got the crowd kind of back into it on an RBI single, and that's all Merrill Kelly was going to allow yesterday. This dude has been lights out in the NLCS. Now, real quick before we show the rest of his highlights, there's an RBI triple from Ketel Marte. He scores Corbin Carroll. Corbin was flying around the bases. I hope that they allow him to steal some bases sometime soon because that's fun to watch. Regardless, Ketel Marte got the stand-up 3-bagger, so that's 4 earned runs off of Aaron Nola. And you can't say the same about Merrill Kelly. He put the Phillies in a blender, especially in the 5th inning, and he seemed to get stronger as the game progressed, and then a computer and analytics said, yep, you are done. Arizona manager Tony Lavello, he pulled Merrill Kelly after 5 innings. Merrill, he was pissed. He had 8 strikeouts, only allowed 3 base hits, but he did have 90 pitches through 5 innings, so I guess it kind of makes sense, and luckily for Arizona, it worked out. They got another insurance run later on from Ketel Marte, and we have multiple game 7s. I think this is the 4th time ever where we've had 2 game 7s in the championship series, so let's talk about the matchup later on today. Now, before we talk about the Rangers and the Astros, another Ranger I want to talk about, Ranger Suarez of the Phillies, is going up against the rookie phenom Brandon Pfaadt, who wasn't really a phenom until a couple days ago when he put the Phillies in a blender just like Merrill Kelly did yesterday. He struck out 50% of the guys that he faced before a computer and analytics said, yeah, it is your time to come out. I thought he was going to go 6 or 7 innings. He made some history in that game. Ranger Suarez on the other side, I mean, this guy is a workhorse. A statue might be built in Philadelphia for Ranger Suarez. He has been that good when it matters the most in the postseason. Since the beginning of last year as a rookie, this dude has a combined like 0.9 ERA in the playoffs, something insane like that. He is basically unhittable, but I'm going to knock on wood. I'm not going to tell you guys who's going to win because I have no idea who's going to win, but I'm just happy we get another game 7. But speaking of game 7s, let's talk about game 7 of the Rangers versus the Astros. Actually, I forgot to show this. Alec Boehm, oh my goodness, in the playoffs dating back to last year, this man is hitting 228 with a 644 OPS. Game 7, if Rob Thomson continues to allow Alec Boehm to hit 4th right behind Bryce Harper, I mean, they might not win this game because they're going to walk Bryce Harper every chance they get. But then again, Bryce Harper saw a ton of pitches in game number 6, and I think he struck out a couple different times. So maybe they're just going to attack Bryce Harper. They're going to attack Alec Boehm. Maybe the Diamondbacks are just maybe they're not afraid of anyone, but Alec Boehm hitting 4th. Yeah, apparently Rob Thomson wants to get fired, and if Craig Kimbrell is shown in game number 7, yeah, Rob Thomson, you just bought a one-way ticket to Stupid Town. Corey Seager, he wanted to make sure that Rangers fans, they felt confident early because, wow, he did not miss that pitch. 440 feet for the game's first run, and yeah, it was all downhill from there for Christian Javier. The postseason magic officially ran out. Adolis, he pimped an RBI single. He ripped one off the wall, and then a lot of people were mad on Twitter or social media. He immediately stole second base, so he kind of got that fake double. Mitch Garver, he collected an RBI right after that, and then Christian Javier allowed another base hit to Jonah Heim, so he was taken out the game. Christian Javier allowed 2 earned runs in his previous 22 postseason innings combined. He allowed 3 innings in the first inning of yesterday's game. Phil Maton, he did a great job at kind of putting a blanket on the fire. He escaped that jam. Houston, they even stole back a tiny bit of momentum with the Jose Abreu RBI single, but there's Adolis actually clearing the fences. Nothing to worry about on that swing. Bregman, though, he matched Adolis with a solo home run, and Dusty Baker, he thought it would be a great idea to use the rookie JP France until his arm fell off. The dude's a rookie. He gave up 4 runs on 5 hits. What is Rob Thompson doing? Evan Carter, he fully broke the game open with a 2-run double down the line. He has been an actual cheat code since his September call-up. Adolis, he found a hole for 2 more RBIs. He is having one of the most insane series in the history of the playoffs, and he's not done just yet. Nathaniel Lowe, he got in on the action with a 2-run wall scraper. Kyle Tucker, it seemed like he's had 18 chances to rob a home run in this series, but there's Obambe again. Adolis had a record 15 RBIs in this series. He's the second player ever to have 7+ home runs and 7+ RBIs in a single postseason. The other guy, Corey Seager, back when he was with the Dodgers, and they're now teammates. That one's got to hurt. Houston, they're down by $1 billion, and Chas McCormick, he got hit by a 103.7 mile-per-hour fastball. That's the second fastest hit by pitch in the StatCast era, behind Jordan Hicks at 104.3 a few years back. Jose Altuve, he swatted a home run. He has 27 postseason home runs. He is 1 away from tying Manny Ramirez for the postseason record at 28, but the Rangers, they are moving on. All of those Mets fans who mocked Jacob deGrom for saying he thought the Rangers were building a World Series contender, that he left the Mets simply because he wanted to get paid. Well, he got paid, he's obscenely rich, and he's on a better team than what you guys have, so there you go. The 2023 Rangers won not because they just spent a lot of money, but they spent money on the right players. They also made insane trade after insane trade, and they developed as well. I mean, Adolis Garcia is the perfect example. Like, he was fully let go a few seasons ago in 2019. I'm sorry to remind Cardinals fans. We'll talk about Cardinals in just a second. He was DFA'd again by the Rangers after they picked him up. They stuck with him, and now he's turning into a superstar. The trades for Jonah Heim and Jordan Montgomery, the signings of Corey Seager and Marcus Semien. They had rookies break out like Ezekiel Duran, Evan Carter, Josh Young. Like, the 2023 Rangers are not just a team who spent money and bought their way to a World Series. They have been absolutely perfect in building not a dynasty, because they're not there just quite yet, but they could rip a couple ALCS Ws in a row. I mean, they did all of this without Jacob deGrom and an injured Max Scherzer. I mean, Scherzer looked absolutely terrible this postseason, so I feel like they're going to be better in 2024. Now, because we just talked about the Cardinals, they lost out on 39 home runs this year from Adolis Garcia. Again, he was DFA'd by the Cardinals. The Cardinals also traded the 2020 ALCS MVP, who's had back-to-back 20 home run, 20 stolen base seasons, Randy Arozarena. He was traded in 2020 for Belly Button Lint and a couple of caramel M&Ms. And then Lane Thomas, he had 28 home runs and 20 stolen bases and a near 120 OPS plus this year. He was traded for a washed-up John Lester. So they traded away two postseason legends and a budding star in Lane Thomas. Now, luckily, Lars Nootbaar, he's pretty good, and Jordan Walker, I feel like he's going to be a stud. But man, losing all of them for basically nothing, Adolis Garcia, Randy Arozarena, and Lane Thomas, that's got to sting. Now, we're going to talk about a few managers, including an update on the Angels' potential new manager, Buck Showalter, who is just the manager of the Mets. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. I want to talk about Bruce Bochy because he's back in the World Series. He won 3 and 5 years back in the day with the dynastic Giants when Buster Posey was a thing and Madison Bumgarner. It's kind of sad that Bruce Bochy's in the World Series and the Diamondbacks might be in the World Series, but Madison Bumgarner, he's nowhere to be found because he was awful this year. Dusty Baker, on the other hand, he has said that he has multiple grandkids now, and he has to really take a step back and think about whether or not he wants to come back to the game of baseball, if he wants to be just a grandpa and there for his family. And if you're an Astros fan, that might be music to your ears, because Dusty Baker, along with Rob Thompson, they're having some pretty terrible postseasons in terms of bullpen choices and different managerial decisions. It's been bad for both of those guys, not gonna lie. Now, the Angels apparently are in the running for Buck Showalter to become their new manager. I don't really have much else to say about that, but yeah, there you go. Buck Showalter, he might be going to the Angels. And now, let's talk about this brand new professional baseball league. We have Pablo Sandoval, Robinson Cano was taken in the top 10, Bartolo Colon was taken in the second round. So let me know in the comments, are you going to be watching some of these games? I mean, I might. It seems kind of fun. Here we go. Today's Immaculate Grid. We have the Royals and the Tigers. I'm almost positive Johnny Damon was on. I know that he was a rookie, I believe, with the Royals, and then he went to the Tigers, I think, to fizzle out and end his career. We have the Cubs and the Tigers. I'm going to go Tucker Barnhart. That's an easy one. 2,000 strikeouts for the Tigers. I'm going to go Scherzer. I almost wanted to go with Jordan Zimmerman, but I feel like he wasn't good with the Tigers, but maybe he got to 2,000 strikeouts with the Nationals. The Royals and the White Sox, Jermaine Dye. This guy was an absolute savage back in the day. The Cubs and the White Sox. Eloy Jimenez, I know, was on the Cubs, but I don't think that he played. Who was in that trade? Was Andrew Benintendi on the Cubs? I don't think that. Nick Madrigal. I don't know why me saying Benintendi reminded me of Nick Madrigal, but he was on both teams. 2,000 strikeouts for the White Sox. I have absolutely no idea. 2,000 strikeouts for the Angels. I'm going to go Nolan Ryan. That is easy. We have the Cubs and the Angels. Simmons, Andrelton Simmons. We have the Royals and the Angels. We have Mike Moustakas. I am flying on this one. And then we just need a 2,000 strikeout pitcher for the White Sox. Who is that? So I don't think Pedro was on the White Sox. I don't think that Mark Burley got up to 2,000 strikeouts unless he did. Who am I missing? No, Lucas Giolito doesn't have 2,000. Honestly, this is the first time I'm ever going to do this, but I don't know any White Sox pitchers who had 2,000 plus strikeouts. I mean, I guess maybe I can guess. I'm not even going to guess. I have no idea. I'm going to give up. How many were there? 13 pitchers that have had 2,000 strikeouts for the White Sox. Who were they? Wait, who was the most popular? Chris Sale. Fuzz, what are you doing? That does it for today's recap. I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you did, do me a favor, leave a like. And if you're brand new, click that subscribe button. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.